How you doing? Hope everybody's having a good morning. I posted a short this morning. I shot it yesterday afternoon. You know, good news. I work things out with my sister. It's okay. Yeah, look, she does this thing consistently, and other people do it too. Doesn't mean she's like it all the time, but when she loses it and gets triggered, you know, will blow up and say horrible things and blah blah blah, and then it upsets me. And then, you know, in this case, you know, she had brought up some stuff that put me off, man. So I lost a little bit. I made that video, and that video was doing actually pretty well. But I set it to private because I don't want to keep it out there and upset her or anything, because we got past it and it's all good. So here's the deal, though. There were suggestions made there. That was good. It was good that I have you. It's good that I have this channel and I could blow off a little steam every once in a while. And there's a lot of suggestions that people make that are not great, actually, and it's kind of silly a lot of the time. But there was a couple people that made the thing. They said, hey man, instead of you building her a shed, you know, because I estimate, financially speaking, for me to build a platform and then buy a shed and everything, it's roughly about $1,000, plus the time to do it. And this guy said, hey man, if you're willing to spend that kind of money, you know, probably a better idea to just pay for storage for her for a year. This way you get the stuff completely out of the house. And that was a good thing for me to hear. Like, I hadn't thought of that. She mentioned getting a storage unit at one point. And she said, oh, you know, it's cool because it's a write-off or something. Because she does taxes too, my sister. Anyhow, that was a good thought, because it also gets stuff completely out of there. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. That's a good thing for me to talk to her about. And, you know, anyhow, the point is, everything's fine. Because I texted her yesterday after a couple days of us both calming down a bit. And I just said, hey, I got an idea. And I said, I'll do that. I said, I'll pay for it for you. So don't worry about getting your stuff out of the place right now. The next time I come into town, that's what we'll do. All right, we'll do the storage thing, and we can put the stuff in the van. I'll drive it over there for you and everything else. But I also gave her that option where I said, look, you tell me what you want. I keep giving her the thing. I was like, if you want me to sell the place, I'll sell the place. I'm very serious about that. So she's like, no, come on out. And then what was great is that when she's cool, just like me, like, we can admit our foibles. I mean, I guess way to put it. Is that a real word? I think that's a word I heard in a. Come on, man. I guess it's a word I heard in like the Bowery Boys speak or something, like the Dead End Kids. Our foibles. I think that means like our indiscretions or our mistakes or our screw ups or whatever. Because the whole thing, remember now, sparked from her getting anxiety over her feeling like I was pressuring her about getting the stuff out of there, even though it's been a year. Let's not get back into that. And I wrote, we'll figure it out, in a text, but she read it as, well, figure it out. So when I did this one, I wrote we'll, and then in parentheses, in capital letters, I went, we will. So she knows. And she came back with the laughing thing and everything. So we can laugh about it. And that's a nice thing, you know. She's not evil. That's the thing that some of you guys don't understand. Excuse me. I get it from people. I understand when people are talking crap about somebody because they've had an interaction that didn't go well and it set them off. But when they're telling me that story, I don't automatically think that they're like that all the time, or the person that they're talking about is like that all the time. It's just a moment in time. I discussed this a while ago. I remember my buddy, he's in this marriage, and his wife, she's kind of a piece of work, man. And for there's times when he's really had enough of it. And if you catch him in that moment, well, that's going to seem like he's not happy and it's a terrible marriage and all of that. And if that's the only time you talk to him and then you go out into the world, you may say to somebody, which is not the right thing to do, but you might, it'll come up, this is normal human beings, we do this. You might run into somebody else that you both know, and you might say something like, oh yeah, John, let's say, is, boy, him and his wife, man, it's not a good thing, they're on the outs. But that was only a moment in time. I go back over there a couple days later, and I got this guy driving so slow, it's like he's got nitroglycerin on the back seat of his car here. It's so annoying. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, now there's people in town that think that they're having a horrible time. But like I said, I went in there a couple days later, and they're all lovey-dovey and talking about their vacation or something. Something like that. So, you have to keep that in mind when you listen to me blowing off steam. Or you're listening to your friends blow off steam. Talked to a buddy last night. He's in a thing with his brother right now. Okay, let's just say. And, and I know both of them. And we're all military guys, all that stuff. And, I know what he's saying. And he's not wrong. But he's angry about it still. And, so at one point, I'm talking positively about his brother, like, because I understand his perspective. He right away got, fuck that guy, da-da-da. But I had to point out to him how he sounds. You got to give the guy a break. Like, if he's happy doing the things that you're talking about, then who are we to question his happiness? We may not like what he's doing or how he's changed in his mind now. He's got a little pussified, let's say. See, got a little pussified. Pussied up a little bit, We both see it. We know it. And it bothers us because we don't like seeing him like that. But if he's happy, then let him be happy, man. It's okay. One of the things I want you guys to look up, especially you women out there that have a problem with me when I'm barking about the traits of women that angry me, that upset me. I'm generalizing, and lately I've been pointing that out to you because you think that because I'm speaking this way that I think this way about all women. That's not true. But I will tell you right now, if you're the type that when I say something, it triggers you and you can't restrict yourself from typing an attack at me because of what you just heard, to me, you are demonstrating behavior that makes me think you're likely that type of person. So you should check yourself on that because it's not a good look. The other thing is, of course, there's fucking horrible men out there, man. I'm friends with a lot of women. I've been listening to women tell me ridiculously crazy, horrible stories about men forever. I have found myself apologizing to women for all men. Sorry you had to go through that, but I'm not that guy. And so, we're human, we make mistakes, and we all do these sorts of things. Like, I gotta get a new headlight. I need a new headlight bulb, there's no doubt about it. What was I saying here? So, if you, shit, I had a really good point I was going to make, and I noticed the headlight was out, and I got to remind myself to do that. I'm making a mental note there. I should have backed in. Let's back in. Let's turn the van around here, because I got to put a new, registration sticker. And I got to find a pair of work gloves. Let me think here. What was I saying? So, women. If you, babe, okay, now I know what I was going to say. If you had a bad experience with a man, you really shouldn't be taking that out on every other man that comes into your life. Same for me. You know, believe me, with what I lived through with my own mother and my sisters and whatnot, and my grandmother, you know, all the women in my life were kind of wacky, man. Then I wouldn't be able to ever like women. I would hate women based on my personal experiences. Some of you think I do based on what I say here sometimes. I don't. There's a bunch of women I freaking adore, man. Love them. And, but the thing is I fit into a particular personality type as far as men go. And I wanted to talk to this because you guys should look this up. I was unaware for a long time. Well, let me get out of the van here, and I won't forget this. I know what I want to say here. Don't go anywhere. This is gonna continue. All right. So what I was about to say here for you guys is that there's different types of dudes, man. And I didn't know this when I was younger. I mean, and I had. It's not that it means anything. I had 68 credits in college, you know, and I had 4 college-level psych courses, and I don't recall these different personality type things that they talked about. All I ever remember was, you know what? I'm going to peel these stickers off. All I remember was, you know, or I recall, just you hear about alpha males and you hear about beta males. That's pretty much it. Well, I'm certainly not a beta male. And I think we can establish that one. But I'm not an alpha male either. That was something that always irked me a little bit, because now I have a YouTube channel, so you're going to think I'm a narcissist or something or whatever. It'd be the wrong way to look at it. But you know, I'm not hung up on being in charge. And I don't want to use a good chisel for this. I don't want to be, there we go. How do I put this? So, like, when I used to ride motorcycles with these guys, right? And you had this woman friend of mine. You guys have seen her on the channel before. And she used to say to me all the time, she used to say, Mike, you're the alpha. And what she was picking up on was that when in a group with other guys, those guys gravitate towards me, and then oftentimes, you know, they want to put me in a position of authority. Like, there's certain guys that, you know, it's normal. You know, we look at each other, we look up to different people, we respect their personality traits. Maybe somebody possesses certain qualities you wish you had, that sort of thing, and then they want you to take on a position of authority in a group. Which, by the way, that's how the country was founded. You know what I mean? Like, you're not supposed to be lobbying to be president or be put in authority. Your peers are supposed to put you there because they want to see you there, because they admire your personality traits. They think that you're forthright and brave and cunning and honest. You know, they want a guy like that to look up to and follow. I don't want to be the guy that you follow, man. I mean, if I have to be, I can take that role on, but that's not my thing. I don't have that thing. I don't want to be telling people what to do. Now, some of you are laughing right now, right? And you're like, oh, you do that all the time on this channel. But that's not what I'm doing. I'm not telling anybody what to do or what to think. I'm telling you what I'm doing and what I think. It's not the same thing. So, what's the next thing here? So, yeah. So, ladies, sorry if I've been offending you. But that's a big part of this whole thing. I'm a Sigma male guy. So look, there's alphas, there's betas, there's also deltas, there's omegas. There might be another one in there, but there's sigmas. So go on YouTube. There's plenty of videos on this that'll explain what a Sigma male is. And those of you who know me, automatically you're going to be like, holy shit, that's Mike. I didn't know it. It helped me, actually, finding that stuff and realizing, oh yeah, I do fit into that category. Okay, so I'm looking for, and I don't see it. Oh, maybe in here. Looking for a pair of leather gloves, like work type gloves, because I've been beating my hands up the last couple days on this old structure here. I'll show you. Let's take you around the back here. So this house, it's been bolted down years ago to the foundation, but there's so many shakes around here that it moves. So I've had to do some patching here. I have not yet done the stucco, but I did some mortar patch. That was a big giant hole here. All right, so I fixed all that with mortar yesterday, and I'm just basically going around this, fixing all that with mortar, and I got to chip some things out here, and then in the end I'll come back. Next step is the stucco. All right, I'll put stucco on all this, and I'm pretty good at this stuff. So when I'm done, I'll get the stucco on, and the trick with the stucco is getting that on and then hitting it with a wet sponge in a circular motion, and you can blend that and make it look like it never happened. And then I have to paint it. So this is a couple weeks of work, I suppose. I got to go around the whole house. It's Wednesday. I'm not putting in like full 8-hour days. That was a weird sound. I just heard. What was that? Oh, stuff fell out of the box. Okay. I thought a car started rolling. That would have been horrible. So that's what I'm doing. When you're messing with concrete, it just screws up your hands and everything. So I wanted to see if I have, bear with me, a set of gloves. I usually, this is what I'm looking for. These gloves right here. I had like 6 pairs of those. Oh, come on. There's one glove in here? There we go. There we go. Yeah. This is what I was looking for. I had 6 or 8 pairs of these that were all brand new that I bought cheap somewhere, and I had them stored in the house, and now I couldn't find them. By the way, make sure you have yourself a decent tire plug kit in your car. Let's get off of that. I found the gloves. I could pack all that back up. So I just wanted to point that out. There's some of you here who, you're not here all the time. There's a lot of you that are here all the time. You watch everything. Thank you. I don't know what's wrong with you. I mean, you guys are gluttons for punishment. But, you know, it's just comments are funny to me. What was the other one? There was some, funny comment the other day. I do a lot of work on the van. I do a lot of my own work. I've gotten away from it the last couple of years. Last 3 years, not as much, mainly because I did it all already. But also I've been busy, and so I've had a couple bucks where I could afford to pay a guy who I do trust to do some of it when I need it. And I'm not a trained mechanic, right? Let's put this stuff away. Let's keep talking while I put this stuff away. So when I do stuff, I figure it out. The benefit of going to school to do something like being a mechanic is that you learn, very important, order of operation. So what that means is that you know, like if I'm going to do the CV axles on my van, I know I've got to take out everything. I got to disassemble everything first, get it up out of the way. The first time I did it, I thought I could do it with this part still attached or whatever, and it made the job take a lot longer. And I bring that up because I talked about this. This is you can make your own funnel here. You see that? I bought this Techron complete fuel system cleaner at a gas station, just so I can use this to pour something else in something else. I needed to make myself a funnel because this one wasn't in the van at the time. Oh, it was the gas can, when I was using the gas can. So this dude reaches out to me because I had said that I've been... this is a metal detector that I keep in the van. It'll work. Yeah, okay. Don't want to have to open it again right now. So I said how I bring the van to, you guys entertained? What I believe was going on with the leak in the van was that I had the oil change just before I left town, and I go to Valvoline. Another guy had made a comment a while ago, kind of snarky, not related to this issue. He's like, oh, this guy probably can't even change his own oil. I learned how to change oil when I was 13 years old. I've changed oil in all kinds of different cars. It's not something that you even need to brag about. It's a pretty simple, straightforward thing. The thing is, it's a friggin' hassle, man, because, you know, you have to collect the oil. You got to bring the oil someplace to dispose of it properly. All of that. And, you know, the cost of the oil, your time. What's your time worth? I know what my time is worth. So these days, it's easier to go to a joint where they do it professionally. And typically, I don't have any problems. But this time, when I got back from the trip, you guys might remember, let me back up a little bit, like a month or so ago, month and a half, 2 months ago, I had a problem where my front main seal was leaking. And I brought it to my buddy Irvin over there at SMG Auto. That's the logo. He's a great guy. I totally trust him. And he's fun. I stopped in the other day to talk to him just to bullshit. I like stopping in to be nice and be fun. This way we avoid the trauma, the triggering mechanism that goes in your brain when the van pulls in, instead of it always being, I need something. Like, now it's like, oh, okay, it's cool. He might just be coming by to say hi. It's important. You might want to try that. Just stop by, and places like that, they've been good to you before and you like the work, just stop in and say hi to somebody once in a while. Just for the sake of saying hi, it builds a friendship level, and then they're more apt to treat you better when you come in and you actually need something. It's a little trick for you. And it's not being tricky. It's the right thing to do. It's being a good human. So there's another tip for you. There's another lesson here for you to let you know I'm not such a bad fella. At any rate, I made the comment that I bring it to Valvoline, and I just had the front main seal done, and it kept leaking. I had to bring it back 2 or 3 times, but it got solved. I came back from the trip, again, had the oil change before the trip, and I saw a couple drips on the ground when I parked the car, the van, when I got home here, and I looked underneath, and your first spot, I'm looking at it from the side, I've shown this before in the earlier videos when I was talking about it, looked like a lot of oil blowback from where the transmission meets the engine, and I thought, oh boy, I hope that's not the rear main seal, but I was pretty confident it's not, because I put a new transmission in this thing, and when I did that at the transmission joint in Arizona, we both, me and the dude, went and looked and inspected that rear main seal, and we knew it was good, because that would have been the time to replace it. So instead of freaking out, I did a whole video on this talking about how you shouldn't jump to the worst conclusion right away. I warm this car up every day to the point where I start seeing moisture come out of the tailpipe. Then I know that the car is warmed up. And what you want to do when you're not driving the car too much is get in here and rev it a little. And what that'll do is it'll blow the moisture out of it. And the reason you want to do that is if you don't do it, the moisture sits in the exhaust system in the tailpipe there, and it rusts out your... So like if you're doing a lot of short commutes, you're allowing moisture to build up, and if you're not blowing it out, it doesn't get out of there, that's why your muffler system rusts out. So blow the moisture out of your exhaust. Okay. So anyhow, I went underneath there. I wiped the bottom of the engine clean and wiped all the oil off. And I looked underneath there with a light, and I could see above where the oil filter goes in that it was wet up there on a couple of the bolts. And I thought, you know what? Maybe that's what it is. My initial thought too was maybe, I didn't even think about the filter being loose. My thought was like the shop, Irvin, maybe when they did the front main seal, part of the thing was to do that correctly, not shade tree mechanic shit. They have to pull the whole oil pan and everything. And when they do that, they got to put all new gaskets and seals in there, which included that part. I thought maybe they didn't do it. Maybe they chinsed. I thought negatively, incorrectly, because I can't help myself, because I'm human. And I sent him a call, and I sent him some pictures. And as I texted it, I thought, maybe it's just the oil filter. And so I texted him this thing, hey, man, I got another oil leak. I might have to bring it in. Or maybe the oil filter is just loose. And so he got back to me chuckling. He's like, yeah, let me know either way. And because when I grabbed the oil filter, I couldn't spin it anymore, but I could do this with it. Because there's a rubber gasket on the top of the oil filter, and if you could move that a little bit, it's not tight enough. That's just it. And everybody keeps saying, just hand tight, just hand tight. Well, that's not how I learned. I learned hand tight, snug, plus a quarter turn. Obviously, you put some motor oil on the rubber gasket first. So the fiasco with the shorts I posted about the wrench that you have to use in there. On the Astrovan, it's very difficult to get one of those strap wrenches on there. There's not enough room there the way it's tucked in, so you kind of have to use one of these. It's like a giant socket that fits on the bottom of a filter. And it would have fit if I used the stock Astrovan filter for this year model, which is a 2004. And I run the filter from the older Astrovans because it's taller. So you get a little bit more oil in your system and a little bit more filtering. Problem is, it's a little bit narrower. And it didn't work on any of the wrenches that were available at the auto parts store I kept going to. So in the end, I put a rag in there and it worked out fine. And when I put it on there and I cranked on it, and of course, I'm using the mechanic touch. I know what I'm doing. I'm not over tightening it. But I was able to go like that real easy. And so I know that's all it was. And we'll see now in the next drive I do. If it leaks anymore, I think I solved the problem. But some guy chimed in and he said, hey man, I'll never go to a place again. So this place over-tightened it. And he was really complaining about how they over-tightened it. And I responded with, I hope you're watching, dude. You're cool. It was funny because we're going to get to this. My response was, well, did you... let me just do this. I'm getting tired of holding you up here. So, I asked him, I said, well, what was the big deal about that? Was there a problem? Did it do some kind of damage to your vehicle? And then he came back with this whole story, this diatribe. Man, I had to drive a screwdriver through it and turn it. It was still stuck. I did this, I did that. It was a friggin' horror story. It's like, dude, I've been there. And I was. That had happened to me as a youngster at different times. There was a time when I was young where, like, my first car in high school, I had 3 lug nuts holding every wheel on because I didn't understand just to get it to where it needs to be. I kept tightening it to the point where I was snapping my lug nuts off like an idiot because I didn't know any better. And my response to him was, well, I've been there. That sucks. But did you try running the car for a bit before you tried to take the oil filter off? His response was, I sure didn't. I'm sure at that point he realized, God, I was stupid. Because if you run the engine, it heats everything up, and the heat makes the metal expand, makes it a lot easier to get the oil filter off. So my point there is, there are times when I'm doing something and I'm not doing it right. I figure it out. I go through it. Sometimes there's some turmoil and problems, and it's because I didn't know the proper order of operation or how to do something, just like this guy. Just like me doing these videos, and I'm talking about things sometimes, and it's coming from a perspective of me being upset. So I'm just trying to blow off some steam, right? And most of you get it, and it's cool. And I'm not upset by the comments that are calling into question who I am as a human being or my personality traits or anything else. I get it. It's just the way that you do it. So when I respond sometimes, it's not because I'm insulted by the comment. It's because I'm I want you to, I'm trying to help everybody out. That's the whole purpose. That's the whole reason I'm here. I want you to see what it seems like or what it looks like when you are taking the time to make that comment that is overtly like an attack or an overly strong criticism. Because in comments, a lot of people won't talk to you the way they will in real life, you know? Not in my family. My family, we're pretty brutal. We're pretty honest about everything. And maybe it's just a Jersey thing. At any rate, that's it for now. I got to get to work. And but you guys have a great day. I hope you enjoyed this. The overall overriding theme of this, though, is everything's fine with my sister. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to get there. I'm going to get her a storage unit. Move all her stuff in there. The machines came up. That was something the washer dryer. And I brought that up in the text too. It's like, Aileen, the machines are unimportant to me. If you want them, you can take them. And so she explained that to me. And now I understand because I didn't know that. No big deal. She understands at some point, you know, she's going to have to be doing it, taking those machines and you know, that it's not, none of this is important. It's not a big deal. And I think she finally understands my point, which I did make. Of course, I made it in the video, but in the text, I said, the thing is it's been a year and I'm trying to plan this out. I'm not going to move all my stuff there and try to build stuff around all the crap in the room to put it someplace. I want to do my trips and build the shelving and build the cabinets and do the things so that as I do trips and bring stuff, when I get there, I automatically have a place to put the stuff, right? So I'm methodical. I'm a planner. I'm doing things correctly. Again, just to remind you, almost 40 years, this is what people have been paying me to do for them. I know what I'm doing, man. So I think that finally got through to her as well a year later. But it's okay. Everything's going to be fine. So I'll still continue ahead with this move. Also, I have another plan. But this is all predicated on the VA thing, which is looking, you know, where's the wood other than my skull? There we go. There's a nice solid redwood here. Knock wood here. It's going to go through the way this guy's telling me it is, and it could be really good. I'm going to not talk about it anymore. I'll wait till it happens, and then I'll fill you guys in. I got a whole story for you. And I mean, I've done stories on what happened to me in the Corps and everything else, and why I went ahead and did this, and, you know, it's a pretty amazing story. And I think it's going to be a good, informative video for you guys. And but if everything comes through the way it is looking, I've got a really good proposition for my sister. It'll make everybody happy. So that's it for now. You guys have a great day. Be kind to one another, and you know, I'll catch you in the next one. Stay tuned. There'll be more of this. You know, it's an ongoing saga of my life here. That's what this channel has suddenly become.